Hi everyone, I'm Jesse Bernstein. I am the playwright and performer of the Scribe for Theater Ariel, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the inspiration for the piece and a little bit about what you can expect maybe when you come to see it. I've always been interested in the Bible ever since I was a little kid. My favorite part of going to shul was hearing our Rabbi Dobberson, talk about the stories and interpret them and give meaning to them. And when I was a kid, I used to talk to Rabbi Dobberson about some of the stories and ask him my questions. And I had this book, which I used to read all the time. The first musical I ever saw was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I loved it. It's one of the things that made me get into theater. And then in college, took a class on Western literature, and the class focused partly on the documentary hypothesis of the Torah, the idea that the 5 books were written over many periods of time by many different hands and eventually put together. And I thought, oh man, who's the guy who had to do that? And then after doing Ethics of the Fathers for Theater Ariel, I thought, oh, this one man show format might be good for this character that I've had in my mind about this scribe, an apprentice, somebody who's not really qualified, and maybe in terms of their faith isn't who you would expect to be the person behind putting the Torah together. And I thought, oh, I'd love to explore that person and tell their story. In many ways, the scribe is completely, totally historically inaccurate. It's fiction, but it's very much researched fiction. So I hope it's fiction with a kernel of truth behind it. Some of the things that I turned to in terms of the documentary hypothesis, of course, who wrote the Bible. Robert Alter, who also has a great translation of the entire Old Testament. Howard Fast, the Jews, history. Of course, Chaim Potok's Wanderings for the historical context. And then also, because I was interested not only in the documentary aspect of this, but what it means in terms of faith. And so, 2 books that really were driving me as I was thinking about this play is God in Search of Man, and then The Lonely Man of Faith. So in addition to the scribe, 2 of the main characters you'll encounter are Ezra, the scribe, and Nehemiah, and they represent opposite ends of a spectrum of faith. They are both men of faith, but approach it differently, and you find that the scribe is caught between them and their agendas. And then, of course, the other book that I turned to, you may have heard of, is the Bible. A couple of books in there that I looked at. I hope you'll laugh. I hope it'll be thought-provoking. If you are very familiar with the Bible, there might be some fun Easter eggs in there for you. If you know nothing about the Bible, it'll be a fun story, and there are things that you might learn along the way. Have no fear, being familiar with the Torah is not at all a prerequisite for enjoying the show. And more than anything, I think the Torah is obviously a foundational document of Western life. This play, I hope, will make you look at it in a new way and consider how it came to be and what it means for us today. All right. Thank you, and we'll see you at the show.